What agency you with?
I'm the state attorney.
Alright. Thank you. Your tag didn't come back. Never seen that before.
Do you guys have cards on here?
Yeah, 1 second, please. Actually, this isn't my car, but I can write my name down if you'd like. There you are.
Like, you have to be behind the person.
I was behind you.
You weren't right behind me. I was looking in my rearview mirror. You weren't behind me at all.
I was in the number 1 lane, you were in the number 2 lane.
And how many cars back?
About 2. I wasn't behind you directly, and then I see you driving away from me while I'm going 60.
Well, I mean, if you were looking down doing 60?
Yep.
So you were looking down, but you weren't looking up at me.
Get on the ground! On the ground! On the ground! Did you just run from me? Sir, okay? Alright, put your hands behind your back. This ain't even him.
Police officers are supposed to know the law better than anyone, and sometimes they do. But then there are times when officers are clearly just trying to flex their power and intimidate people without actually knowing what the law says. Sometimes these officers succeed in intimidating people that didn't do anything wrong, but other times they end up pulling over the wrong people. And what happens next is the sweetest case of humble pie you have ever seen. The officers are schooled by the law by people they pull over and have no choice but to shamefully walk away. Today, we'll be diving over the world of cops who pull over the wrong people, and the result is hilarious. I can't imagine how it feels to be schooled by a regular person as a cop, but I bet it's even worse when you're the head of the police department being pulled over and schooled by a traffic officer. Let's start off with this chief of police deputy who got humbled by his own officer.
Guess who I just pulled over?
The officer couldn't believe his luck when he caught his boss, the chief police deputy, violating traffic laws. He had to call another officer to laugh about it first.
Yarborough.
Really?
Yeah, the chief deputy driving a Dodge Charger, a souped up Dodge Charger belongs to the sheriff's office. I just clocked this at 96 in a 35. Really? Yeah. Sir, here's your ID back. This is your copy of the citation. If you would sign right here. It's got a court date, time it's must appear. Please slow down and have a safe day.
Okay, that officer definitely enjoyed pulling over his boss and would be telling that story for years to come. But watching this next officer biting his tongue as the man he pulled over teaches him a lesson is even more satisfying.
Oh, so I pulled you over for speeding. Hey, YouTube channel?
I wasn't speeding.
You were.
How fast?
Back on Bridgeport, you're going about 70.
No.
This officer still thinks he's about to pull one over on this supercar owner, but watch the guy use his own words to trip him up.
I looked, I was doing 50.
Because I was going 60 and you were getting away from me.
So do you have it on radar or laser?
Pacing.
You weren't behind me.
I was.
Really?
Yep.
You have that on camera on the dash cam?
No dash cam.
No dash cam?
Nope.
So it's just your word against mine?
Yep.
All right.
At this point, this man knows the officer doesn't know what he's saying, and he's about to make him realize it.
Like, you have to be behind the person.
I was behind you.
You weren't right behind me. I was looking in my rearview mirror. You weren't behind me at all.
I was in the number 1 lane, you were in the number 2 lane.
And how many cars back?
About 2.
So you were behind another car behind me.
I wasn't behind you directly.
So you're in an opposite lane, behind a car.
So you were in the curb lane.
Uh-huh.
I was in the closer lane to the double yellow.
Right, correct.
Yep. And then I see you driving away from me while I'm going 60.
Well, I mean, if you were looking down doing 60?
Yep.
So you were looking down, but you weren't looking up at me.
This is the exact moment the officer knew he had been caught in a lie, and he had no choice but to backtrack his story.
Or you were looking down and looking at me at the same time. These are just questions I'll ask in court, right?
I know,
yeah.
I know. But did I say I was going to give you a ticket?
No, you didn't, but I like to ask questions.
That's fair.
Which isn't illegal.
No.
I'm not saying I'm going to get a ticket.
No, I know.
I actually think I shouldn't.
I'm going to have my own reasons for whether I do give you or don't give you a ticket.
The officer learned a swift lesson. The man didn't get a ticket. What could be better than that? Well, maybe this next one. What happens when an officer pulls over a guy, makes him get out of his car and get on the ground, proceeds to arrest him while pointing a firearm at him the entire time, surrounded by several other officers? Then they find out they have the wrong guy. Let's find out.
Hands out the window! Both hands! You got anybody in there with you? Anybody with you? Take your right hand up in the door. Get on the ground. On the ground! On the ground!
The man calmly complies with their order while trying to prove his innocence, but the officers don't care.
Did you just run from me? Sir Cray? Alright, put your hands behind your back.
The officers accuse him of running from them, and even though the man kept insisting he didn't run, the officers placed him in handcuffs. But watch the officer get the shock of her lifetime when she checks out his license plate and realizes she's got the wrong guy.
Since you give me that tag.
Contact to a 2016 Dodge Challenger there.
This ain't even him. But they got almost the identical tag.
You chasing a black Dodge Challenger?
Look just like this. Yeah, you good.
The police eventually release the man, telling him they're sorry. But this man is about to teach them a lesson they will never forget.
Body camera video shows South Carolina police take the wrong man into custody after mistaking his license plate for that of a suspect's. Now he's suing the city for civil assault.
He was leaving a Burger King when he was mistaken for someone who was involved in a high-speed chase by the Marion Police Department and was pulled over and subsequently ordered out of his vehicle onto the ground at gunpoint by an officer with the police department and handcuffed.
This is not an incident the officers will be forgetting anytime soon, and they're not going to make that mistake a second time. While the officers pulling over the wrong guy negatively affected the man, this next case is even worse. We know sometimes officers don't make sure they have the right person before pulling them over, but what happens when officers have the right car with the wrong person in it? The officers crashed into a car they believed to have been involved in a high-speed chase weeks ago, only to discover the person in the car is not who they were looking for.
They had the wrong person. I'm on my way to Walmart to get my kids some food for the rest of the week for school next week. Head-on collision.
Aren't officers supposed to use their lights or sirens if they want to pull a car over? In this case, the officer chose to do neither, instead crashing into the woman's car while she was waiting at a stoplight.
This officer here, 4383, head-on collision. I'm sitting at the light. And he comes and hits me from the front.
And the officers don't even apologize to her. Instead, they start harassing her as she's trying to film the crash, telling her to knock it off. The worst part is, the woman was not alone in the car.
Hits me from the front, claiming that I was in a high-speed chase. I've been in the hospital having my baby.
That's right, the 6-day-old baby she had just had was in the car at the time of the collision. These officers could have done some serious damage to a mom and a newborn, and they don't even apologize?
My baby is a week 6 days old today.
Explain to you what happened?
Yeah, you had the wrong person.
Your car.
No, maybe it was a car like mine. I was in the hospital.
It turns out the officers did have the right car, but the woman who now owns who they crashed into didn't update the ownership of the vehicle when she got it. It's one thing for officers to target the wrong person mistakenly. It's another thing when they go after someone for doing something legal, but try to make it look like they're doing something wrong, but when the person knows they're right, the officers end up looking dumb.
All right, how you doing today?
May I ask why you're filming?
I just feel like it.
Just feel like it?
Yes, sir. Trying to find anything interesting going on. Can I ask you the name and badge number? For?
Filming the petroleum. So we got a call.
Okay.
That's why I'm out with you.
All right.
People are concerned about you filming the petroleum.
Just seeing what I can find interesting to report on, you know. You never know when you're going to get that video that's going to make you a lot of money.
Although the man has clearly explained why he's there, the officers keep pressing him about it. Watch what happens next.
Can I get your name and badge number, sir?
You're one of the Second Amendment guys, aren't you?
Second Amendment?
Yeah. Civil rights guys.
What's your name and badge number? Is there something wrong with Second Amendment? You don't like the Second Amendment?
I'm not gonna have this conversation with you.
At this point, the officers know they're wrong, and they're just grasping at straws. But the guy is not backing down.
Well, you're the one brought it up, though.
No, that's just who you are, though. I've seen your picture on the emails, so.
If you don't want to have the conversation, why'd you bring it up? I'm just curious on that one right there.
Because that's who you are, right?
You see my picture as a Second Amendment person, huh?
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I find that very interesting. On an email. An official email.
Do you remember what it says?
That's our personal knowledge.
When the officers saw that the man wouldn't budge, they decided to try to frame him for a traffic jam in the middle of the road. But the man quickly showed them that they were messing with the wrong guy.
Nope, I'm not causing that.
Watch what you're causing.
You see that right there?
I'm parked here because I'm talking to you.
You see where she parked?
Yeah.
She's out of the way.
No.
You parked in the way. I've stood here and watched several trucks come out here.
I'm
not causing this. No, that's projection. That is projection. There's plenty of places for you to park where they could have got through, but you refused to do that. You'd rather park in the way.
If you weren't here doing this, we wouldn't be out here.
When the officers saw that the man was not backing down, they eventually walked away and left him alone. It's one thing for officers to try to arrest a person because their vehicle looks like the vehicle of a suspect. It's another thing to try to arrest someone because they look like the suspect you're looking for. And the officer in this next case learned that the hard way.
He don't even know my name and tell him I have a warrant. What did he do? That's what I'm saying. For what? For what?
I'm from Louisiana.
For what? For what?
Yeah.
I don't even live in Louisiana, so how would I have a... You don't know my name, so how can you tell me I have a warrant in Louisiana?
Sir, stop.
Clarence,
Imagine walking your dog in front of your house and an officer stops you telling you your dog isn't yours and then proceeds to try to arrest you for a warrant in Louisiana and you don't even live in Louisiana. That's what this officer tried to do. But thankfully this man knows it's right and refused to be messed with.
You just put him in front of my house and then... I don't trust, cause you shaking like you scared or something.
Okay.
Shaking like you scared.
He don't live in Louisiana.
I don't even live in Louisiana. How the hell would I have a warrant in Louisiana?
No matter how much the man tried to explain to the officer that he was the wrong guy because he had never stepped foot in Louisiana, the officer kept trying to arrest him. And then this happened.
Quentin, you already said your name was that.
My name is not Quentin. What the f is wrong with you?
Sir, his name is not Quentin.
Then let's see the ID when we're done.
The officer clearly does not know the law according to Texas law. The man is not required to show him an ID until after an arrest has been made. What makes this case even worse is that this officer does not even know who he was supposed to be arresting because he called the man 3 different names. First calling him Reg, then Quentin.
No, I'm not gonna be the next you kill.
No.
Stop.
His name is not Quentin.
Quentin. Let's do this and be done. I got no problem cause I got
you just stopped in front of my f***ing house.
Yes, I know who you are.
It's you know what's my name? Man, f that. You shaking like you scared. I'm not gonna let you put me in handcuffs.
Please stop. Please stop.
My name is not no f***ing Quentin.
At this point, the man asks the officer to show him a picture of the man he's looking for, and watch what happens when the officer realizes he has the wrong man.
Show me the picture. Show me the picture.
Okay, wait.
Just walk with me.
No,
walk with me.
Please, he's not going nowhere. He's not going nowhere.
I need your supervisor or somebody
I am the supervisor. Come on.
Well, let me see your stripes. Well, I need somebody
here to front of the car.
No, you're not gonna get me to your car. No.
Sir.
Put my yard on my property.
Get my phone out of the car.
There you got him running.
Get my phone out of the
car. Calm down.
Here's the deal.
No, don't look like
That's
me.
not him.
What's wrong with you, man?
The man totally lost it after he saw the picture of the man the officer says is him. It turns out that that man is a black man in his 50s, and the only thing they have in common is dreads.
What you trying to say? Because I got dreads and I'm black, that's me?
No.
That's not him.
She can see that's not me from over there.
God. No.
The officer was clearly clueless and a little overeager, but thankfully the man stood his ground and did not let the officer wrongfully arrest him. It's definitely wrong to try to arrest someone just because he looks like someone else, but you know your job is at risk when you wrongfully pull over the state attorney.
What agency are you with?
I'm the state attorney.
Once the officer realized this was Aramis Ayala, Florida's first black state attorney, he immediately went into explanation mode, trying to justify pulling her over.
All right, thank you. Your tag didn't come back. Never seen that before. I'm sorry? Yeah, we're good now.
So it was...
We ran the tag. I've never seen it before. A Florida tag, it's never come back to anything before. So that's the reason for the stop.
What was the tag run for?
I'm sorry?
What was the tag run for?
Oh, we run tags all the time, whether it's at traffic lights and that sort of stuff. That's how we figure out if, cars are stolen and that sort of thing. Also, The windows were really dark. I don't have a tint measurer, but that's another reason for the stop.
Aramis does not believe their explanation, because her next move puts fear in the officers' hearts.
You guys have cards on here?
Yeah, 1 second. Actually, this isn't my car, but I can write my name down if you'd like. There you are.
These cases are definitely shocking, and as we look at them, we're faced with a burning question. Are the police really doing their due diligence before pulling people over? And for a lot of these people, if the officers didn't know they were being filmed, what would have happened to the people they wrongfully pulled over? Do you think that more people should film their interactions with officers for safety reasons? Leave a comment down below. Before you go, hit the like button, subscribe, and see you for our next adventure.